Setting you guys up here. Are we good? I think we're good. Don't want to cut off my head. Some words I didn't think I would say. Alright, here we go. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am organizing my yarn room stash projects and wanted to bring you through. I made my second cup of coffee, have my big comfy cozy Halloween sweater, which we are October 20th or the 21st, so very, very fitting. And I have been really loving setting goals. If you've been following me for a while, you know I love a good goal. Doesn't mean I'll always hit it, but I just find that it motivates me a lot to get things done off of my needles and just really keeps me going. So I wanted to share that with you, my thought process, as well as going through my projects that I have all on the side here. You can find everything I talk about linked in the down below, also where you can find me. I am Julianne Knitter, both on Instagram and Ravelry. If you have any questions, definitely put them below, and I always answer them as soon as I possibly can. All right, grab a sip of coffee or tea or whatever beverage that you have in your knitting, and let's dive right into my knitting. Today, like I mentioned, I'm going to be going through my projects. Now, my goal for the end of the year is to have all of my projects off of my needles. I know that might sound crazy, but the reason why I want to do this is I want to start the new year with a fresh start. I also want to go through some of the projects that I have on my needles and evaluate, do I really want to keep them? Do I not want to keep them? Do I want to rip them back? And go from there. So first thing I did was I wrote down my works in progress, things that I currently have on my needles. No, it's actually not that much. And then the things that I need to cast on by the end of the year, which would be the DK weight sock cowl that me and my friend Laura are doing together. I decided to write down every single item that I have on my needles, and then I'm going to evaluate them each individually. So for an example, I have my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. This is the one exception that I will make because it's a 5-skein shawl, and let's all be honest, this will not be done by December 31st, and I'm okay with that because this is a project that I want to relax and enjoy. The minute I pick this up, I know that I will not stop wanting to knit on it. It's amazing and fun and addictive, and I just want to keep on knitting and knitting and knitting. So this is the one exception of the projects that I am okay to go in the new year with, but this is the only camera cut me off a little bit, but yeah, so this is the one project that I'm okay with going in the new year, but everything else I want to get off of my needles. Yesterday I had to come to terms with one project where it's just not going to work out, and it was a little difficult, but this was a project that I was collaborating with Knit Picks, and it was going to be a huge throw blanket. I designed this out of Knit Picks palette, their palette box, and I finished up 2 full squares, had the pattern tech edited, wrote it out, spent hours on blocks, and just to come to figure out that the vision isn't working. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I had to come to terms that the pattern as it is right now is not going to come to light. And this is what I mean when I reevaluate things, is finding, one, if it's a design, is it going to work out? Is it not? It was definitely not easy to decide that because I spent so many hours on it, but I knew deep down that I wasn't going to be happy with the outcome. So I decided to make the hard decision to have it eventually become something else. The yarn and the pattern just wasn't exactly what I had hoped for, and I always want to make sure that the patterns I come out with are exactly what I want, that I'm happy with it, and that I'm proud of it. And for this one, it wasn't what I wanted. This is in my Maria bag. I will link her bags down below. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so that one is going to be put aside and will not be completed for December 31st because, yeah, it was a little difficult. It broke my heart a little bit, but that's okay. Some of the other projects that I definitely want to get off of my needles, this is a sweater that I'm doing out of Hobie unicorn yarn for the girls. I cast this on a few months ago and I haven't knit on it since. It's really just a pattern I'm making up as I go that I'm using fingering weight held double and doing this fun little color block. I'm very thankful that I kept the needles on here, so I at least know, because I didn't write anything down. I just like cast on, started going, and I was getting the girls to try it on as we went. Did I write anything down? No. I can figure it out though. I can read my knitting, so. But yes, so absolutely love this little tiny sweater. This one is going to be done by the end of the year. I'm probably only a few inches away from binding off, and then the little sleeves. I mean, kids' sweaters go so fast. I'm using the yellow out of unicorn and then the speckle. The next project that I have is a test knit that I'm doing for my friend Sylvia of Camellia Fiber Company, and it is an all-over colorwork cowl. This deadline is October 31st, so this one is going to be a priority because the others that I'll show don't technically have a deadline except for my December 31st. But this one is definitely something where I need to be able to knit on it at night when the girls are sleeping because, like I mentioned, it's an all-over colorwork. And that is something I also want to keep in mind is I want a project during the day when I'm with the girls that's more vanilla. And I have a few pairs of socks that are more vanilla, and this cowl will have this one as my priority during the night. So this one is definitely staying on the needles. I completed 3 of the sections and I still have quite a bit to go, but that is slowly coming along. The other project that I currently want to also finish by October 31st is this pair of socks that I'm knitting out of Knit Picks Stroll Tweed held double. This is a pair of socks for me, and I want to make it for Halloween night. I want a fresh pair of little Halloween socks for that night. So I am just knitting this out of Stroll Tweed held double. I will put the full recipe, and odds are I will write up a blog post on how I'm knitting these. Just kind of a free recipe. I have a little tiny stitch marker from my friend Rachel, who gave this to me a few years ago. I finished the first one, and I am currently onto the cuff of the second one. So as I mentioned, this is going to be my knitting during the day right now because I want this one done by October 31st and this done by October 31st as well. So this will be during the day and then this will be at night. And both of these are the priority at the moment. That is how I'm going to be tackling my list, is looking at if it's a test knit, is there a deadline, if there's a holiday, whatever that it may be. Because to be honest, I would love for the month of December to knit on things Advent. I am getting a few Advent things in the mail, and I kind of want to be knitting on that rather than knitting on other types of projects. So this one is definitely going to be, I would say, another day or two, and this pair of socks is going to be done. So hopefully. Sip of coffee and on to the next project. The other 2 projects that I have are my Scrappy Socks. These, I already released the pattern and I just need to knit up the little second pair. This was a pattern that I released earlier this month. I did 2 samples. The first one was Molly of a Homespun House. I designed this out of her 10-gram minis in the Walk This Way. The first one is completely done. You can get this both on Ravelry and my website. Absolutely love this pattern. Love it. I think I might do up this pattern during Advent season. I think it's going to be the perfect pattern. And the second sample that I knit was out of Polka Dot Creek yarns in their earthy, this is their 10-gram minis. I actually have the Polka Dot Creek a Christmas bundle, so I think that would be a lot of fun during Advent season to knit up a pair of Christmas Scrappy Socks. Both of these have one completely done. I have not cast on the second pair for the Polka Dot Creek, but I actually was able, I mean, let's all be honest, this isn't much, but I at least did cast on for the second one of the Homespun House. This I want done by the end of the year. My plan at the moment is to have this as my vanilla this one of Knit Picks as my vanilla knitting during the day. Once that pair is done, then I'm going to be moving on to the stripy socks and knit one at a time. This is really just knitting 2 socks. I should be able to get this done. And then I have fun scrappy socks. I'm just super excited for it. So this one out of the Homespun House will be my second cast on as my vanilla socks, since it's already it's already cast on. And why I've not knitted up yet is beyond me, but I decide to cast on all of the new things and get distracted, as we all do. I'm not alone. Let me know below. These are both in my creative knitter, who is my friend Stephanie, in her bags. Absolutely love Stephanie's bags. They're really, really adorable. This is in the medium size, and this is in her small. Absolutely adorable, and I love these. This will be also to do. The next project that I have needs to be done by December 31st, since it's actually a test knit that is due December 31st. This is the Vodka Cardigan by Joanna, which I'm test knitting out of Knit Picks Aloft and their Stroll. I have split for the sleeves, and I am probably about 2 inches, if not a little bit more, on the sleeves. Every time I pull this out, I absolutely love this cardigan. I really, really love it. I think it's going to be something that I'm going to wear so much. I have created a Ravelry project page if you want to go see that with all of the details, and I talk about it a lot during my podcast. Whichever one that you watch, because I almost show it off every single episode. But yes, I really love how they work together, and my plan is to do about a stripe or so every day. Some days I do more than others, but it at least gets a little bit done every single day. I also wanted to share with you all, these are my stitch stoppers from Laura of Camp Fabric Yarns. I love these. These are on her regular size, and she has a ton of these in her shop, in the mini, the regular, and the large. Absolutely love the mini and the regular size. This just helps that your work doesn't fall off of your needles. When you put something away, it won't fall off. I actually finished the last row of the gray yesterday, and I've not yet cast on the other yarn. So this is the Stroll. This is in Dove Heather, both Knit Picks, and this is the Aloft in Carbon. That's how these two work up together. Really, really pretty. And I have this in my Jenna Rose tote, which is the size small. The last project that I currently have here is a pair of vanilla socks for Eric. I'm really upset with myself for this one. This is ridiculous. This is a pair of socks that I knit, I want to say maybe in June or July. We are October. And it was the tutorial for how I knit my socks on magic loop, cuff down. And I share with you all everything in the YouTube tutorial. I'll link it below, as well as there's a pattern for it. I've started the second one. The cuff is done, and I'm just needing to knit. I mean, oh, you guys, I gotta finish this. I am knitting this out of some of Stash yarn. This is Haute Knit Yarns in her Foggy Autumn Morning. Sorry, my lighting is not the best today. And I have this in a bag by my friend Stephanie, the Creative Knitter. This one is going to get done when the Scrappy Socks are done. I mean, this is just vanilla knitting. Should already be done. And that is everything that is on my needles that I want to keep on my needles and on the schedule. I'm hoping as I keep writing it down and kind of crossing them off as I go. I have another project I can't share, but I think the West Knits Mystery Knit Along is the only thing that I want to bring in the new year. So I hope you guys really enjoy this fun little tiny vlog and bringing you through my thought process. And if you have any ideas or want to join me, definitely let me know below, and I will catch you guys next time. Happy knitting, you guys.